It's my great pleasure to introduce our next two speakers, our student speakers, who I came to know 2 years ago during the interview process for these scholarships, our Community Foundation of the Verdugo Scholarships. And over the past 2 years, we've kept in touch, and I've become very good friends with these two wonderful young men, who I have no doubt will both be transformative leaders in the very near future. Their accomplishments, even at this young age, are too voluminous for me to present here. If you note on your table, there's a bio sheet that talks about all the wonderful things these two young men have done. Briefly, Mark and Andrew are both pursuing simultaneous degrees in mechanical engineering and business administration at UC Berkeley College of Engineering and the UC Berkeley Haas School of Business. In the fall of 2017, each will be entering their third year at Berkeley. During their time at Berkeley, the brothers have been heavily involved in a variety of campus activities, including CalSol, the Solar Vehicle Racing Team, Engineers for a Sustainable World, and the Momentum Speaker Series, which the brothers founded and co-run in a series of TED-style interviews at Berkeley. Since January of this year, Mark has been working at Apple as an engineering program management intern, and this summer Andrew will be staying in the Bay Area to intern at Tesla as a mechanical design intern on the Model 3. The brothers are residents of Glendale and attended Clark Magnet High School, graduating in 2015. They are proudly half Armenian and half New Zealanders, and are great representatives of the best of our youth today. In 2015, Mark received the Sam Bear Scholarship for the Community Foundations of the Verdugos, and just 2 years ago was attending this breakfast, as are you today. Likewise, Andrew was also in your seat 2 years ago when he received the Big Man Fritchie Scholarship. So it's with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce our student speakers today, Mark and Andrew Ansell.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Cusimano, for that wonderful introduction. We'd like to start by daring the audience.
We dare each and every individual in the audience today to dream. Dream bigger, dream bolder, and pursue those dreams. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm a rising junior at UC Berkeley studying both mechanical engineering and business administration. This summer, as Mr. Cusimano said, I'm interning at Tesla Motors as a mechanical design intern working in interior engineering for the Model 3.
And I'm Mark. I'm also double majoring in mechanical engineering and business administration at UC Berkeley. I've been working at Apple since January, taking a semester off to do that, working on Macs, doing engineering program management.
In many aspects of our lives, we've created opportunities for both of us to thrive that weren't already there. But succeeding in college was intimidating. It was different because we were now being graded against students who were also at the top of their class.
But we want to paint a picture of how we've been able to accomplish what we have in such a short amount of time. And a critical part of doing that was that we've always had a vision. Something big, something bold, and something that we didn't really quite know how we were going to accomplish. So that's what we want you to start with.
As an example, when we were in your seats a few years ago, these were our visions. We wanted to intern for Apple and Tesla, study both business and engineering, study abroad, and graduate from Berkeley debt-free. But at the time, these seemed pretty far-fetched. We didn't know anybody in Silicon Valley, nor did we have fully funded college funds. But we set our sights on these visions regardless. Now, we're interning at these two companies, have been accepted to study abroad in Ireland, are studying both engineering and business, and so far haven't taken out any loans.
And our new visions are on the right. A critical component of achieving these visions was having a growth mindset. So a growth mindset is understanding that your abilities and intelligence can be developed, coined by a Stanford psychologist. Andrew and I have had a growth mindset for as long as I can remember, and essentially this means that we see challenges as opportunities for growth.
As an example, I want to show you an email I sent my academic advisor in my first semester of my freshman year. Note, I believed that I could intern at these companies, even though at the time I had no idea how I would do it. So I reached out, and as you can see the date, that was 2 months into my freshman year, and I asked my academic advisor about alumni who have already been working there and reached out to connect. 2 years later, Mark and I are interning at, respectively, Apple and Tesla.
So does anyone recognize the gentleman in this photo? Just feel free to shout it out. Yeah, so it's Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. And so both Andrew and I have admired Tim Cook for as long as we can remember. We really admire his leadership of a company that we look up to. And so I really wanted to meet him, and that was kind of a dream of mine, because I wanted to humanize someone who I thought was so far away from me. And then in humanizing him, I could see, okay, this is something that is possible for myself. And so I was fearless, and I went up to him when I saw him around campus earlier this year, and I spoke with him. And had I cowered away, I wouldn't have gotten these 2 awesome photos with him that were posted on the internal website. And that's what I want for you all, to see that the potential upsides of being fearless greatly outweigh the potential downsides.
So another way having a growth mindset has helped us is with the new Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology program at Berkeley. So if you haven't heard of it, the MET program is a brand new program that admits students to study both engineering and business directly from high school. And it also provides millions of dollars in funding to support them, and it's quite selective with an acceptance rate of under 3%. However, because Mark and I weren't freshmen when the program was created, it seemed like we had just missed this opportunity to get a lot more resources to help us get to the same place. One of these resources was exclusive access to a designated space on campus, which, of course, we wanted access to. So in my mind, there was no reason why we shouldn't also be able to access these resources, since we were essentially doing the program just without the structure and support. So I introduced myself to the program's executive director, taking a service-centered approach. Keep in mind, all we wanted was keycard access. I offered our services to her as some of the only students at Cal currently studying both engineering and business. If admitted students wanted to know how it was like, I offered our help.
So Andrew, how did that turn out?
I gave tours to students, took them to talks, and even attended the admitted students' reception. So now you're probably wondering, did I get keycard access? So the answer is yes, we did, but we got even more. The astounding thing about this was because I approached this opportunity from a service-first perspective, saw the challenge of not being able to enter this program and kind of being cut out as an opportunity for growth, the leading industry funder of the program, who, just for background, is the managing director of technology investment banking at one of the biggest investment banks in the world and raised billions of dollars recently for Snapchat and Facebook, came up to us and said, I know who you are and I know what you want, and I will make sure that you both get into this program and are the first graduates of the MET program. So at that moment, we were kind of like blown out of the water. We just wanted keycard access, but because we had offered our services and hadn't even asked for anything initially and just tried to help, he saw something in us and said, okay, yeah, now I want to help you back, and I'm going to give you more than what you initially had asked.
Yet another example of the benefits of a growth mindset happened during my senior year of high school. So when I was in your shoes a few years ago, my high school counselor, Mrs. Turgian, invited the top 10 students in the class to apply to a competitive national scholarship. But unfortunately, Andrew and I weren't in the top 10 students in the class, so we had just missed the cut. I think to any normal person, they might just brush that aside. But not Andrew and me. We were determined to still apply to the scholarship. So we saw this as an opportunity to work even harder and make sure that we had as best of an opportunity that we could give ourselves to win this scholarship. So we did a lot of essay editing and revising, as I'm sure a lot of you all have done, to get here today. And we both were eventually selected to be national finalists, which is really exciting. And I also was selected to go on an all-expense paid trip to Chicago to interview for the top prize. In the end, I won the top $50,000 scholarship given to one person out of 20,000 applicants. And this is something that I didn't even think was possible for myself because it seemed like the world didn't want me to even apply. So this is another example of just if you have a growth mindset and you believe that you can achieve something, then you're the only one that sets the limits on your potential.
These 4 examples show how taking initiative and, as Mark said, having a growth mindset have helped us achieve our goals and even achieve things that we hadn't even imagined, and can also help you as well. But we want to emphasize that we didn't get here by ourselves. In fact, as Oprah Winfrey says, nobody makes it alone. Nobody. So how have we accessed mentors along the way?
So it's really interesting because we have a lot of mentors that don't know us personally or don't know we exist at all. People who we look up to, like Andrew said, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, Maya Angelou, Paulo Coelho, etc. We spend a lot of our free time watching YouTube videos of the interviews that these people give because it gives good insights into how they view the world and how they got to where they are today.
But mentors can really be anywhere. Your parents, scholarship donors, or even students who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. A lot of successes that we've had have come from meeting with students who are 2 steps ahead of us and deconstructing how they got there.
And so what's next for us? We will be studying abroad in Ireland in spring 2018, and we're both going to do summer programs this summer at the Stanford Graduate School of Business and Harvard Business School.
And we want to leave you with a final perspective on rejection. So I'll just read this out loud. Most people believe avoiding rejection is a good thing. By avoiding something bad, we've dodged a bullet and are somehow net positive. But that's not true. When we shy away from rejection, we reject ourselves and our ideas before the world ever has a chance to reject them. This is the worst form of rejection, and as a result, we are ignored by the world.
So take initiative when it comes to your dreams. Don't prematurely reject yourself. Be bold. Constantly expand your vision and have a growth mindset, and seek mentorship from people you aspire to be like, and dare to dream. Thank you.
Wow. So to all you students out there, 2 years ago, these guys were sitting in your seats. And so what a powerful message. What a powerful message. Thank you so much for bringing that and sharing that with us today. We have some mementos of your visit here with us. So on behalf of the Community Foundation of the Verdugos, please accept these. And thank you so much for coming down and presenting that to us.